All right, so I'm ready for hand three. Hello, new partner, and hello, new opponents. All right, well, it's nice for a change to actually have a good hand for my point count. As far as 9-point hands go, I like this one. One of the reasons is that I have two aces. Another reason is that I have good distribution. 6-4 hands are good hands. And I also happen to have my points in my longest suits. All right, now is my hand good enough to bid 2 hearts? Now, if we were playing 2/1 is forcing the game, which is a pretty popular system nowadays, my hand would not really be good enough to bid 2 hearts because although I have a nice hand, I'm not strong enough to force the game opposite an opening bid. If 2 hearts is not forcing the game, then it's borderline, and I think I probably would stretch and bid 2 hearts, even though I'm probably supposed to have about 10 high card points to do that. Now, how do things change when first D doubles? I guess I probably am not quite strong enough to redouble. Technically, you're supposed to have about 10 points for that. I only have 9. I wouldn't worry about that so much, but I do have a pretty distributional hand, whereas redouble is best bid on, balanced hands. The message of the redouble being, I think we should maybe be defending a doubled contract. Here, of course, I'd be happy to defend a doubled contract in hearts, but I don't think the opponents are going to end up in hearts. And, maybe I could defend 2 clubs doubled, but unless partner doubles 2 diamonds, let's say it goes double, I redouble, and I land 2006 bids 2 diamonds passed around to me. Well, I'm certainly not going to double that with only a doubleton and diamonds, and if I redouble and then bid 2 hearts, that's a forcing bid, which is somewhat of an overbid for my hand. So I think what I'm going to do is just bid 2 hearts myself here, and get my heart suit off my chest. I think for most people who play standard bidding, this isn't a very commonly discussed situation, but 2 hearts by most is considered a non-forcing bid, at least in the United States. So, I know that first D has advertised some heart length with the takeout double, but I think my hand and my hearts are good enough that even if partner has a singleton heart, I don't mind playing in 2 hearts. So, I'm going to bid 2 hearts, no guarantee of success, but it sort of seems like a normal bid. I would say my hand is fairly close to prototypical for this bid. Maybe a little bit less in high cards and slightly better hearts. So if I had the same kind of hand with, say, the Queen of Hearts instead of the Ace of Clubs, it would be a textbook 2-heart bid over a takeout double. Okay, so not clear here if my partner's 2-no trump bid, what it should suggest, and also if partner understands what my 2-heart bid means. There's sort of, these things are tied together. So if partner reads my 2 hearts as a non-forcing bid, then 2-no trump should suggest extra high card points, because with a minimum hand, partner should just pass 2 hearts. You don't, run from when I've shown a long suit to no trump. So, however, if partner thinks my 2 hearts is a forcing bid, 2-no trump might just suggest that my partner doesn't like hearts very much. So I'm in kind of a difficult position here because I don't know how my partner has read my bid. If I think my partner knows what I'm doing, I have a pretty good hand because I certainly could have had less than 9 points for this bid. If that's the case, I should probably insist on some kind of game contract. If my partner has a weak hand, however, and thought that the 2-no trump bid was forced because 2 hearts was forcing, Now I'm in a bit of trouble because I don't really want to bid my clubs out of fear that partner might think that's forcing as well. I probably would bid 3 hearts if I, thought we might be having a bidding misunderstanding, just because I don't have a no trump hand, and it doesn't sound like 3 hearts is a forcing bid. So, I'm not really sure about this, but it feels to me like it's most likely that partner doesn't read my 2-heart bid the same way I intended it. So I don't think partner has a particularly good hand here. Even though in theory perhaps 2 no trump should be a good hand, in practice I don't think here it likely is. So I'm going to bail out of 2 no trump and hope that 3 hearts is a better contract than 2 no trump. No guarantees, but my judgment suggests that that will be the case. Could be a disaster. I sort of feel bad for my partner that presumably Critter is not sure whatever, Critter might think is going on is not completely sure, and bridge can be a little bit scary when you're playing in front of a lot of people and you don't know what the bids mean. But, I think 3 hearts didn't sound forcing. If I wanted to force, I would have bid something else. So I haven't seen Critter's hand yet, but I suspect that the pass was probably a smart bid. Okay, so I was right, I guess, in that partner, wanted to just play in 2 no trump as opposed to making a forward-going bid. I don't like my chances here very much. It would have been better from my point of view if partner had more strength in the minors and less strength in spades. But what can you do? I just sort of got to make the best of a bad situation. In retrospect, I do wish that I had either redoubled or passed the first time, as it looks like the opponents probably don't have any great place to play. So I'm probably, not going to make 3 hearts, and, I'll do the best I can. Let's see what happens. I guess I have a bit of an issue here at trick 1. If the 8 of diamonds is a doubleton, maybe I should be covering with the 9 because it might be better for me if, if firstie has ace, king, jack 10, small of diamonds, that IE land can't lead the suit again. So I guess I'm going to do that. The whole thing isn't very happy. I guess one thing I can be happy with is I'm not vulnerable. So I'm going to play the 9 here. Okay, so if the jack of diamonds is an honest card, it means that the 10 of diamonds is in East's hand, because firstie presumably would have played the 10 if firstie had the 10. You may have noticed there that I played the 6 of diamonds instead of the 3. Can't really hurt in situations like this to sort of mix it up with your spot cards. Sometimes that makes it harder for the defenders to know what's going on. I do a lot of that, and you might notice. I won't mention it every time. Okay, now, heart shift, looks good for the defense because it probably hasn't given up anything. If the hearts are 3-3, I'm only going to lose 2 heart tricks, but I still have all kinds of problems. Maybe the best thing for me to do here is to go up with the ace of hearts and get rid of my diamond on the high spades and hope that that East has the king of clubs, or that I can somehow, hold my club losers to 1. So maybe I can lose, 1 club, 2 hearts, and 1 diamond, because I'm going to get rid of my diamonds. Now, I'm not exactly optimistic that this is going to work, but it may be worth a try that, perhaps I will get lucky and make my not very happy contract. So let's see what happens. Okay, that 7 of hearts is sort of an interesting card. More about that in a second. Okay, now I could play another high spade and get rid of one of my clubs, but I don't think that's a very good play. For one thing, my 13th club may not be a loser. That my whole play is sort of predicated on playing clubs for hopefully somehow. It's not very likely that the king of clubs is with East. So if that's the case, I'll be able to get back to the dummy later, and if I need a club discard, I can do it later. The danger of playing the queen of spades is that the opponents are going to start running out of spades, and when that happens, now they'll start to be able to play more spades for each other to ruff, and I may lose a trump promotion or something like that. So I think what I want to do is to come back to my hand and continue to try to draw trump. I'm actually going to do it with the ace of clubs because I am in danger here of running out of trumps. So I really am not too inclined to rough myself down if I don't need to. Okay, now back to that 7 of hearts. If it turns out that the 7 of hearts was from 10-7 doubleton, I'm going to be able to avoid losing 3 more trump tricks by leading the jack of hearts now. If it turns out that the 7 of hearts was from king 7 or queen 7, then there's nothing I can do. I just have 3 trump losers. If it turns out that the trumps are 3-3, well, it hopefully doesn't matter what I do. So it looks like it's probably a no-lose play for me to lead the jack of hearts and hope that the 7 was from 10-7 doubleton. I'm not exactly confident it's going to work. One good thing about it, though, is that the more points that Firsty has that aren't in clubs, the more likely that my dream of the king of clubs being with Leyland, I guess Leyland is the name, might happen. So, maybe there's 2 things going for me with leading the jack of hearts here, that if the 10 does fall under it and Firsty does have the king-queen, then my chances in the club suit become a little bit better. So maybe I'll get lucky. Let's see. Watching the spot cards is kind of important, that if I wasn't, paying attention to dummies, singleton heart, the size of it being the 9, the 7 of hearts, I wouldn't have had this chance. Not that it looks like this chance is working anyways. But here we go. Let's see what happens from here. I think it's pretty likely that I'm going down from this point. Possibly more than 1 trick. Yeah, I could well run out of trumps here. However, I do have a chance to make my contract, as unlikely as it may seem. I don't feel like it's going to work, but I'm going to try it nonetheless. I do think it's likely that hearts are 4-2, and I'm probably going down more than 1. Well, that's nice. So I'm still alive, barely alive. Unfortunately, I'm not feeling very good about the king of clubs, but let's see what happens. So, well, do I have any other alternatives here? Well, I mean, I'm going to lead a club. Do I get lucky? Yay! And dummy has a 3 queens ending, which you don't score any points for, but it makes bridge more fun. So, all right, so that probably worked out better than I deserved. All right, so there you go. Any questions from the audience there? Okay, about the bidding. Okay, redouble of a takeout double shows, typically 10 or more points, but that doesn't mean necessarily that if you fail to redouble, you deny 10 or more points. Modern thinking in this area is that if you have a distributional hand, you should normally be bidding over the over the takeout double, sometimes even when you have 10 or more points. And the sort of modern standard is that a new suit at the 1 level would be forcing, a new suit at the 2 level would be non-forcing. So in this particular case, if you happen to know all of that which I just said, and I'm not saying that this is universally standard, it's sort of just what the experts in America play. 2 hearts probably would be less than, if 2 hearts is non-forcing, it's less than 10 points. So in this case, it would be different if it went 1 club double, because now I could bid 1 heart, with more than 10 points, because it's at the 1 level, the new suit is forcing, but at the 2 level, it's non-forcing. Now, this isn't a universal way to play. There are those that play that the 2-level bids are forcing as well. But as far as I can tell, in America at least, the most common agreement to have for serious partnerships is that a 1-level bid of a new suit is forcing, a 2-level bid of a new suit is non-forcing. I think that if Critter reads my 2 hearts as non-forcing, Critter should pass 2 hearts, because I'm not going to be suggesting 2 hearts as a final contract here unless I have, at least a 6-card suit. The reason being is that firstie will usually have heart length for the takeout double. My partner hasn't promised any heart length and will often have a singleton or maybe even a void. So, I'm not going to be introducing a 5-card suit here and volunteering to play in a 5-1 fit. So, for Critter to bid 2 spades, despite the fact that the spades, in the South End were so pretty, there weren't enough of them. So, it really should be, I think if Critter had read my bet as non-forcing, Critter probably would have passed 2 hearts, and I believe that that is the correct bid. Yeah, so if 2 hearts is non-forcing, you shouldn't be really doing it with a 5-card suit. And you should expect your partner to pass when your partner, has a singleton and no special distribution. Yeah, so if I had bid any new suit over the takeout double, it would have been non-forcing. Now, let's talk a bit about the takeout double itself. Now, again, this is a little bit of a matter of personal style rather than right versus wrong, but I personally prefer to pass with firstie's hand, and really that has nothing to do with the fact that I only have 3 hearts. Now, you'd like to have, length in the other major, especially 4 if you can, when you make a takeout double of a major. But if you think that the takeout double promises 4 hearts, that is simply incorrect. However, it is sort of a negative, and there are other negatives about the hand for making a takeout double. One is that the hand is very minimum in terms of high cards. Another is that you're vulnerable. And, normally your partner should expect you to have a little bit more for all of your actions when you're vulnerable. And finally, you're very flat. And actually, that's not final. The final thing is your spade holding is about as bad as it can be. So, while I might make a takeout double of a one club opening bid with that hand, I'm not saying I would for sure, I wouldn't be making a takeout double of a one spade opening bid. You do force your partner to bid at the 2 level. And you really don't want to be doing that, I don't think, with such minimum high cards and such bad distribution. So I'm not saying firstie is categorically wrong to bid double. It's just not my thing. And I think, at least in America, most experts would prefer a pass. So it's the kind of thing that if you have a serious partnership, you should have agreements about what is the worst hand you can make a takeout double with, and decide if this hand fits the parameters or not. Okay, so the prototypical hand for a redouble would be, a balanced hand without, typically a doubleton and partner suit, and good defense and 10 or more high card points. Now, you don't have to have a balanced hand for sure. You might be 1-4-4-4, for example. But the main message of redouble is, I think we should be defending. And you don't really want to make a strong statement about defending, when you have a highly distributional hand, if you can avoid it. Generally when you have a distributional hand, you'll find that it pays to bid your suits out if you can conveniently do so. So the redouble says, partner, I've got good defense for the other suits, and maybe we should be doubling them. So you have 10 or more points, and you tend to have length in all the other suits, at least 3 cards, so you tend not to have very many cards in partner suit, just because there aren't that many cards left for you to have. One no trump after the double is normally played as a hand that would be roughly 8 or 9 points balanced without 3-card support for partner's major. Now, so it's just a natural bid, and it says I have a no trumpy kind of hand. Now, I mean, a 6 or 7 point hand, you might also want to bid a no trump, and you might have done that had it gone past. But nowadays most people seem to think that when you make what's called a free bid of one no trump, that you show a little bit more than when you do when it's not a free bid. What I mean by free bid is here when they make a takeout double, you have the alternative of passing. So when you bid when you don't have to, it's a free bid. Whereas if it goes one spade pass, you can't really pass with 6 or 7 points. You're sort of forced to bid, because your partner might have enough for a game. So that's what the free bid concept is all about. And, it's sort of common to play that a free bid shows a little bit more than a corresponding non-free bid would. Okay, so here's another good question by Duffer. If you had a 3-card limit raise for partner. Now, probably some of you have heard of the 2 no trump convention when it goes like 1 spade, double, 2 no trump. I've heard it called Truscott. I've heard it called Dormer. I don't know what the official name of it is, but the basic idea is that 2 no trump over a takeout double suggests a limit raise. Now, there is some case to be made for the 2 no trump bid suggesting, at least 4 trumps in a limit raise. And so if you have a 3-card limit raise, you can describe that. Now, this is only if you make this agreement. You could start by redouble, which normally wouldn't have a fit for partner, and then out of the blue, you can raise partner. So partner will be a bit surprised by this, but since the bid doesn't really have a meaning normally, the idea is, well, I must have 10 points because I redoubled, and I must have a fit because I'm raising, ergo, a 3-card limit raise is the expected hand. So, that's a reasonable way to play. But, again, it's a matter of agreement that if you and your partner hadn't discussed it, you may well assume that the 2 no trump is either 3 or 4 trumps. It might also depend on what part of the world you come from, what standard in that area is. Jordan. Maybe that's the name of it. Okay. Well, there's a lot of names for that thing. So I'm not going to tell you what an official name of it is, but I think Wayne is right that there are people who call it Jordan. The name is obviously not the most important thing. It's what the convention means and what it shows and what you bid after it, and that your partner knows and is on the same wavelength. But I guess names can make it easier to remember and to discuss. So, if you play with a partner, you can call it Jordan, or you can call it Dormer, or you can call it anything you want. Just make sure that you both know what it means. Okay, I think we're ready for hand number 4. Thanks, everyone.